This video is brought to you by Truefire. What's going on, everybody? And in this week's lesson, we are going to check out the second part to Wings for Marie, which is 10,000 Days. All right, it's a long song. It's like 11 or 12 minutes, so we get a lot to jump into. Down in the description below, you can find a link for any of the tabs you see scrolling across the screen, and let's jump right into it. Drop D tuning, just like mostly everything else Tool does. Now, the beginning of the song kind of takes a little while to get started, and not transcribed in the tab, right before the first guitar part, there's a little 16th note / tremolo type picking on the 12th fret of the A string, right? And then that note holds out, and then the guitar part gets going. Just a real quick note here about counting this song. Now I know the drums and the bass kind of go off and do some polyrhythmic ideas here and there throughout the song, but I've seen this song transcribed as 3/4. Don't do that. It's 4/4 all the way. The guitar has a triplet feel going through it, okay? So everything is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can pretty much get away with that the entire song, all right? So let's jump in here. The first swell idea is 10, 9, 10, 9, 7, and we're gonna do that 3 times, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, and then that 7 is 2 measures there. Okay, so you do that 3 times, and then after that, you're gonna add the 5 to it. Like that, and you do that swell riff 3 times, okay? And then the last time, you only do it once, you're gonna go up this time. 10, 9, 10, 9, 12, 14. Okay, that's your intro swell riff, okay? Now the verse section starts of the song, and this is probably the most complicated part of the song, just because you have basically 3 different variations. At least that's just the way I've organized them. It makes sense to me, and I've labeled them in the tabs like A, B, and C, and you'll see that across the screen. Okay, so the first one is the A section, we'll call it, and it's done 2 times in a row, and you have this riff, which is similar to, or pretty much the same thing from Wings Part 1, all right? 14 of the D string, and then 15 open on the A string, okay? Like that. And I'm gonna hit that 14, since we're in triplet feel, triple it, triple it, triple it, triple it, right? That 14, you just count 4, that's 1 measure, and you do that 4 measures. 3. Kind of thin it out where it's just the 14 and then the open A string, keeping that swing triplet kind of feel. Okay, so that's the A section. You do that 2 times in a row. Okay, and then we're going to move on to the next variation. Now basically you do the same thing for only 2 measures this time, and then we're going to add a melody. We're gonna do that, okay? So it's 2 measures of that and then the melody. Like that, all right? So that little melody, instead of 14 and 15, now it's gonna be 15 and 17. Same string, same idea, right? 15, 17, pull off to A. And then the melody notes are 17 of the D, 15 of the D. And then it's that, 14, 12, 14, 12 on the G, all while bouncing off the A string. Okay, so that's your A section and then your B section, and now we're gonna do the C section. And that's C C section? Weird phrase. Anyway, the C variation, okay? And it's gonna be similar where I do the 2 and the melody, but I'm gonna do that back-to-back times, and then when I'm just bouncing off the here, it's 4 measures instead of 2 measures, right? And just to throw in another variation for everybody, on that 4th measure, the 14th note changes to 17, just that one time. So that's the C variation. Feels kind of weird, slightly unnatural, but if you put it along, that's kind of what's going on here. All right. Now, here again, like I said, this is the most complicated part of the song because it's all these variations. Then you're gonna go back and do the A variation 2 times. Then you're gonna do the B variation 1 time, and then you're gonna do this ending on it. Right? We're gonna trail out of it, which is again similar. The main idea with the melody. Back to the main idea, then it trails off to the open A, okay? So I'm not gonna play that whole thing, I'm just gonna play that last section. When you look through the tabs, it's A, B, C, A, B, outro variation, D, for lack of a better letter, right? So that last one is... kind of go through it twice and then let it cut off and feed back. And then you have this. Section. And you're going to end up playing it 4 times all together, but there are some variations every time. Surprise, surprise, right? That's what makes learning Tool's music hard, right? So 10, 9, 10, 9, 7, mimicking it's like a variation or development of the intro swells. That's kind of what's going on here. Now, you can hear those 16 da, 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 thrown in there, right? I've tabbed that out as, you know, you do 2 and then 2. Like that. But personally, when I play it, I kind of like to only do 1. It kind of just cleans it up because these notes are kind of open, they're ringing out over each other, and it just cleans it up a little bit. Just my own little personal taste. You do what you will, right? So it's, you're bouncing off the 10 and then the A string. Right, 7, open G, back to 7. And you can hear the twang of that open G string. Then you do it again, right? And it's pretty much the same thing, but the only thing that changes is the ending of that variation. It's 7, open, 7, 8. You have to kind of get that step up, that half step up. Right, and then after that, you're gonna go up and add the 12th fret in there. Like that, okay? And now the fill changes. This one's a little more straightforward. 7, open, 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 right? Instead of the D, open G, open B. And then pick right to the O string, the open high string. Like that, that's that fill. Like and then you take it all away, and basically you're just gonna end on 7. And then you're right into the guitar solo. The guitar solo feels harder than it actually is to play. It's actually pretty simple melody. It's just that you have these very long open spaces between all of the melody hits. But again, if you just keep that 4 count going on, you're gonna fit right in, no problem, okay? Follow on the tabs, listen to it. So the first idea is just the 10th fret on the D string, right? And this is gonna ring out for 6 measures, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, right? And then you get the next idea. And the first 2 kind of ideas work just like that. So first it's 10, let it ring out. And then it's 10, 15, 14. Let that ring out. And then it's 10, 14, 19. And then 19, 17. And then you can stay on that string, 19, 20, or go to the G string, 14, 15, 17. One of those, 14, 15, 14. Kind of echo, pull, slurs it, right? And then you have a tremolo. Kind of does that where you pick it really fast and then gradually slow down, right? And then this one's kind of hard to really nab, but it sounds like he's doing the same kind of riff, just really fast. Does one of those. And for this part, you know, normally in the verse, I'm picking that note, but here I'm just hammering down on the A string with my middle finger pulling off. I'm only attacking that D string. And then hammer on 14, 15. Do that again. Back down to 14. And that is the guitar solo, all right? So follow along, try to count. Mostly everything is gonna fall on a nice downbeat when you're counting 4, okay? So that's gonna take us to the post solo riff, and that sounds like this. That, all right? So it's 10, 12, 9. And I like to pull off of that note and go back to 10. Right? The same tempo as 12. 5, and then 5, 7. Kind of got that swing vibe to it, right? So you can do that 2 times in a row, and then you're gonna go higher. You're gonna go up to 14. Right, and you do that 2 times in a row, but on the second time, that phrase kind of do one of those. He extends it a little bit. You're really following the vocal line, so listen to you on the line, the way, whatever the lyrics are. I'm terrible at that. And then pull up and get the dissonance from pulling that note up. And that's gonna lead us right into the heavy section, which is super satisfying after doing all this light, delicate, drawn out stuff, all right? But before we dive into that, let's pay some bills and talk about the sponsor of this video, Truefire. So I just want to take a moment and thank Truefire for sponsoring this video. For those of you who don't know, they're an online site. They have over 50,000 courses covering all levels, techniques, and styles of play. And I've actually worked through 2 courses myself. There was a John Stowell modal course and a Josh Smith blues course, both really fun to play through. So when Truefire came to me and said, hey, we love your channel, we want to sponsor some of your videos, I was all in because I've used the product before, right? It's interactive, you got tabs and backing tracks, super fun to play and at your own pace, which is great. So down in the description below, you can find a promo code, AXEOFC30, you get 30% off your first course. So pick up your guitar and ignite your musicality. Learn, practice, and play with Truefire. All right, so we're back into the heavy section, and that all power chords, very satisfying. 7, 5, 7, 10. 3, O3. You do that 2 times in a row. Okay, like I said, you do that 2 times in a row, and then we have the typical extended power chords that Jones likes to do, right? You turn just 3-note power chords into 5-note power chords. Now, on the tabs, I didn't really notate some of the strumming feel, so you can just go if you want, or put in some rhythm. Right? It's still 7, 5, 7, 10, but the first time around, instead of playing 3, you're gonna go up the octave to 15, and it's really like quarter note triplet hits. Kind of like that. And then end on 12-10. The second variation, instead of going up the octave, you're gonna stay on 3 and then go open 3. All right, so I'll play that whole section for you. And then we get that fun kind of triplet kind of feel riff. And again, it's the same thing. 7, 5, 7, 10, 7, 0. There's your group of 3. 10, 7, 0, 5, 7, 0. Okay? And then 0, 2, 0. Okay? 10, 7, 0, 5, 7, 0, 0, 2, 0. All felt in 3s. Like that. Fun. Got to work on that strumming, get it up and down, okay? So you're going to go through that a couple times, and then it turns into single notes with, guess what? Some variations on those fills. The first one is the same exact thing, just single notes. The second one, the 10-7-0 on the low string is the same, but then it's gonna go 10-7-0, 5-7-0 on the 5th string. Like that. And then the last variation, you do the 10-7-0 on the low string, and then you have this really fast 16-note triplet. Almost, again, Jones does this a lot. It's kind of like a drum fill, right? On the tom. Right? Like that. A long note on 8, and then hammer on 0-7-5, long note on 5 with the D string, pull off 7-5-0. Like that. Very last one. Like that. 7, 5, 7, 10. All right, so let me try to play all those variations for you. And it's 3 beats on that 10. Okay, and then kind of, if you have some extra distortion or a boost, maybe kick it on, and then we're just gonna, again, strum simple power chords again, right? Nine, open, 9, 12, twice, and then 5, 2, 5, open. As that note rings out open, you can either roll down your volume a little bit or kind of bring it down with a palm mute. And then you have this riff. That part, right? And you're just picking out basically an open power chord or a sus2 kind of sound. 2, very common. 5, 6, 4, string wise, right? And then 5, 6, 5. And then as you go through it, dun dun dun, pick out all 3. And then power chord on 3. Repeat that 4 times, and then that last one holds on. Gradually slide up to 7. And then they have this nice outro section. Again, tough to feel. Listen to the bass line. Okay? The guitar part is really just picking out power chords on 3, moving up to 8, right? Just picking them out. And then doing a nice cross string there. So after you do the power chord on 8, slide up to 12 on the D string, play 10, and then drop that finger down to 9. Again, I see people play with the open string, but I love the fretted cross string dissonance. It sounds great. Like that. And watch how these strings ring out with each other. It's not, right? You kind of let the first 2 ring out. But when you go back to the root note of that power chord, lift up the ring finger. This way you get a little separation. And then let those ring out with each other nicely. And again, I mentioned listen to the bass line, because again, the timing could be tricky there. And if you listen to the bass line's really going. And then the guitar answers that bass line right there. So you go through that, I don't remember offhand how many times, 4, 5, or 6 times they play that part. And then you have a little, after you do that cross string, they end it with a little melody. 5, 7, 2. Right? And I like to play that all on the G string. I like the way it sounds. And then you're out of the song. And there you go, 10,000 Days, Wings for Marie Part 2. Down in the description below, you can find a link for the tabs. Check out Truefire if you're into that. You can use the promo code AXEOFC30 for 30% off all access or any course of your choosing. And as always, let me know what you come up with. So until then, I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.